So I find myself on a foreign planet, and I immediately feel the history of this planet. So I feel like I was there as a child with 5 or so other children, and we were sent there to informally document the planet. And we were sent through a naturally existing portal system. The portal system looked like warping golden energy on our end in the foreign planet. And I also felt that we built this weird dig out or tunnel around the portal system because we were unable to stay above ground for too long because of a weird radiation that overwhelmed our bodies. And I also felt that we didn't move more than 100 meters from the portal system or from the dig out because it was just a very foreign planet, and the radiation made it hard for us to travel around. And I was just there by myself this time, and I went into the dugout that was done a long time ago, and it was still in pretty good shape. I cleaned it up a bit, like I squared it off and made it a bit bigger. It was about 400 cubic feet. I recall not being able to dig in a certain direction because this clay-like material that I was digging in, it temporarily stopped because there was this seam in the ground and there was a sand-like material in the seam, and if I were to dig into the seam, all of this sand would pour into this really workable clay material that I had that was also really strong. After I was finished, fixing up the tunnel, I went above ground and I started looking at things, and there was a very large slope, like just in front of me, right beyond the tunnel. And there was these weird pedestal things that I could step on to get up and down this slope, but I didn't go too far. And also, most of the pedestals didn't really support my weight. They initially looked like tree stumps that were just cut really short, but they couldn't hold my weight, so of course they weren't tree stumps. And this was a very green environment. I felt like I was in a jungle. And there was some weird sounds going off, like weird animal noises, and I was pretty concerned. And when I was actually standing on the slope area, there was this small kangaroo animal. It looked kind of like a kangaroo, and it moved around by jumping. It didn't really run or walk. Like it was leaping pretty far. So this small kangaroo animal just jumped on me. It wasn't trying to eat me or anything. I don't really know if it was trying to attack me or be playful, but it was jumping on me and I started falling down the slope. And I got back up on the slope. I walked past the tunnel area towards the portal system, just out in this flat area, and I looked up in the sky and I saw a bunch of moons. So there were moons that had different sizes, and they looked kind of like our moon. They had that grayish look to them. There's a small tree thing in front of me, and I used that as a reference point because I was looking beyond its branches into the sky, and I wanted to count these moons. And of course, if you want to count something, you have to start at a set location and then work your way around. And this is like a ring that wrapped around in 360 degrees, so I use this branch as a reference point. It's still really hard to keep track of these things, to count like that in such a state of being. But I managed to approximate the large visible moons in this ring to around 10 to 15. And there did not seem to be a sun anywhere. I think the environment was illuminated at that time by the moons. So the sun was on the other side of the planet somewhere, on the other hemisphere, or shining on the other hemisphere, and the light was reflecting off the moons into where I was, my hemisphere. Because I really didn't see any sun in the sky, and I was investigating it pretty closely. And that's all. See ya.